Here we have Bitcoin still trying to grind up to the top of this range. Got rejected again. We have fallen below the 50 and the 21 right now, being held up by the 100. Now, if this thing continues down to, 19,100, that's going to signify that we kind of barred it out. We're probably going to go lower. If we break the 19,100 level, next stop is 18K. And that's pretty clear cut. I mean, we're right at an inflection point, like I said yesterday. We either break this trend line or we break these moving averages. I mean, it's pretty clear cut right now. So we're not really going to have that long of a video today because we're basically waiting for further developments, and then we're going to come back to it. If we do break out or break down today, we'll probably come back and make another video today. Okay, another short video, get you ahead of the curve, let you know what's going on. All right, so your 21 and your 50 are curling over. Your 100 even has a negative slope. 200 is pretty flat. You did have this multi-crossover. All right, you did have this multi-crossover, but you were not in the bullish control zone. See, this is one of my signals. All right, you have this multi-crossover, but there's other variables that come into play. And I will be talking about this at tonight's panel. We are going to have a panel. There's 4 of us traders there. And we're going to talk about current market conditions, each one of us, and then we're all going to talk about our favorite strategy. We're going to share our strategy that we use to trade in the market. So we're going to make it to where you guys can copy this strategy and use it for yourself. All right, so I'm not even going to go into my signal right now. I'm going to wait till later, so make sure you watch that video. All right, so right now your RSI is in the bearish control zone. Came down, came up for a retest to the top of the bearish control zone. If we break this last low on the RSI, we're going to go deeper in this bearish control zone. And that's not going to look good. That'll probably make us break the 19,100 level. MACD, trying to get this cross at the 0 line. We're going to find out whether we get support on the 0 line or not. Negative momentum on the histogram is increasing. BBWP still expanding. As you see, it's above its moving average, sharp upside curvature, and in the upper zone. So your momentum basically rolled over once you could not get above this trend line. So now it's, unless we turn around right here or at the bottom of this 200 at 19,250, basically 19,240, shit could get really ugly really quick. If you're short, that's a good thing. If you shorted this trend line, you're probably in good shape right now. Now, if we break this trend line, the next stop is basically 20K, 19,950. That's the next stop if we break this trend line. After that, it's 2450, 20,450. Those are the 2 levels that I'm looking at if we break this trend line. Now, that would also imply that we get this momentum to turn around. If we break this trend line and we can get this RSI back above this signal line, find some support on the 0 line and break its signal line to the upside, as your BBWP continues to expand, that's going to be a different story. All right, but right now, the ball is kind of in the bear's court. Once this momentum rolled over, and we just kept grinding out this area and then got rejected again, it's starting to not look too good. So if we come down and break this 200 at 19,225, we could get a wick down to the 19,100 level, but we have to hold 19,100. If we don't, 18K is next. All right, let's move on to the 4-hour real quick. So we could be making a higher low. We are finding support on the 4-hour 50. All your moving averages have converged into each other, so you're going to have a moving average cross one way or the other here. Excuse me. It's either going to be when you break this trend line, or it's going to be when you break the POC, point of control, in the VPVR at 19,100. Your VPVR here is to your right. Measures horizontal volume at a certain price level. Now, that 19,100 level came up twice. It's very, very important, because that's going to be your last low, 19,170 basically. So if you break 19,100, that's going to mean a lower low. And you're going to be breaking all these moving averages. Plus, your moving average crossover will most likely happen, and once you get that fan out confirmation of the downside, things are going to pick up quick. You're going to see 18K very fast. 4-hour BBWP is pretty contracted. Looks like we're coming down. I think this thing picks back up. I don't really think we cross our moving average. I think we turn around and pick back up. MACD curling over. Positive momentum's decreasing all the way to the 0 line. We're going to find out whether we cross that signal line and break this last low. If we break 19,100, I'm telling you, all this momentum is going to turn down. Your 4-hour RSI is going to enter the bearish control zone, and it's not going to look good. Now, could have a little bit of a pop here, maybe to 19,500, but that'd still be a lower high. So if we do have that pop and get rejected, be careful, because once we break this 50, 19,350, things are going to start cascading down. All right, let's look at the daily real quick, because we have a huge move coming. Look at this daily BBWP. Very, very low, but it's going to curl around soon. So once it curls around, that's when the huge move happens. Either the one to 16,500 or 24,000. Those are the levels that I'm looking at too. I mean, we're going to have a nice stop at 21,000, get a hard rejection from there, probably back down to the 20K level. If we do break the top of this trend line and the 50 at basically 20K. Excuse me again. Kind of sick right now. But yeah, so you're riding the top of the bearish control zone right now. Getting rejected from the neutral median line. MACD, below your 0 line. You're inching your way up to that 0 line, but we're going to find out whether this is just a reset and then a resumption down or what. We are at a high inflection point right now. We need to break out of this trend line in order to be bullish. We need to break below 19,100 in order to be bearish. All right, so that's basically what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. Let's go over to order blocks. We are getting rejected. We did get rejected from the bearish order block and the topside Bollinger Band. Stochastic has a pretty strong downside curvature, curling around a little bit. Could get some sort of relief bounce, possibly up to the, see, here we go, 19,470. That lined up with 19,500. So somewhere around there, we could probably get some sort of bounce to there. Probably, then maybe our rejection. All right, we are sitting at the POC point of control in the VPVR, the 4-hour right now. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to get above this level. We could have already had the bounce. I mean, we did kind of get up to 19,440. So the bounce could have already happened. This could be it. We could be rolling over right now, but we're going to find out. I would expect to have some strong support at 19K. All right, so, but once, like I said, 19,100 is the level. Probably get a wick down to 19K. Once we break that, though, if we break 19,100 on a 1-hour closure, that's when the downside is looking a lot more likely, okay? If you guys are liking this video so far, like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the links in the description below. One being the Discord. Join the damn Discord. We stay ahead of the curve collectively. A lot of good conversation about crypto, trading, investing, markets, investing and trading as a whole. Definitely join the Discord. It's the place to be. Better than any other Discord out there, in my opinion. So, on Ethereum here. Ethereum getting rejected from our bearish box. Still. Looks like we could have some sort of head and shoulders here. Looks like we could have some sort of head and shoulders here with kind of a double head. With this being the neckline. So, if this is a head and shoulders, I'm not much of a pattern trader. But if it is a head and shoulders, we could have a measured move right where we hit. So the head and shoulders was already played out. I mean, somebody was playing off that pattern because, that shit played out pretty good. Exactly. Right to the 200. So your 21 and your 50 are curling over. Looks like Ethereum's curling over. We're in the bearish control zone. RSI on the 1 hour. We're crossing the 0 line on the 1 hour. BBWP is expanding. So your volatility is picking up. Once you break this 200 at, oh, here we go again, 1,300. 1,300 is the level to stay. That's the level to keep. We break 1,300, $1,000 is in the cards once again. We've hit it before. We almost hit it. We almost hit it before. We got to, can't see the wick here. Yeah, so we got to 1,192. So we almost hit 1K. But if we break 13, 1K is back in the cards. All right, now the level to beat is these last highs. 1340 is what I would be wanting. 1340. If you break that to the upside, I would expect a rejection from the 1365, but ultimately I think you go up to 1400. That's if we break that last high. Today's pretty clear cut. I mean, we're at an inflection point. We are right in the middle of it. You know, we either break out or we break down from here. Odds are more in the favor of the Bears, okay? Not by much, but they are. I'd say about 60-40. All right, let's go over to... So right now, we did get rejected from that small bearish order block, supply block right there. Finding support on the top of this bullish order block. We also have a bearish order block in there, but we're finding support off the double bullish one. Stochastic downside curvature, but it's curling around. We're going to find out whether it's the signal line is going to come down. We're going to retest and resume down. That's probably the case, especially since we exited the bullish control zone. So now we're in the neutral zone of the stochastic. All right, let's move on to, I already explained the levels for Ethereum. So let's move on to Solana real quick. Solana finding support on a bearish order block. Basically right where your POC is as well. Nope, it's just a VPVR level, 3022. You are in the bearish control zone on the stochastic, still strong downside curvature. So if we get into the oversold region, I could see us coming pretty extreme into it and coming down to this bottom band at about 2936. Let's go to, so yeah, okay. Potential multi-crossover. If these moving averages fan out, you're in deep shit. All right, we are in the bearish control zone on the RSI. Signal line's coming in right at the top of the bearish control zone. So that's going to be heavy resistance. Heavy resistance at 3050. What's 3050? 3050 is right here, basically where that last high was, where we got rejected. That little wick high right there, and where the 50 is going to be coming in at pretty soon. So right now, we are below the 100. If we close the next 40 minutes below all these major moving averages, we're probably going to come down to $29 pretty quickly too. That means that you're going to get deeper in the bearish control zone. Your MACD is going to follow through on this zero line cross as your negative momentum increases on the histogram, as your BBWP expands. And you would have the multi-crossover of the moving averages. So if they fan out, probably going to break this level, 29.36, and work your way down to $26. That would be what I'd be looking at. That would also be a lower low, and that would mean that Bitcoin's probably going to 16.5. Like I said, right now is very important. Do not sleep on crypto right now if you are in this market, because now is the time to pay attention. Definitely pay attention right now. What we are going to go over is we're going to go over the NASDAQ and a couple charts real quick. So let's go to the daily. I've had this drawn, all this drawn for a very long time. Since I first connected this broadening wedge with this. This was actually down here, actually. This was like this, and then we broke out of that broadening wedge. But see now, yeah, obviously this was the top. I did have this mapped out. I mean, you can't really put dates on it, so nobody would really believe me, but I literally boxed in the top of the NASDAQ when it topped out. Not to sound cocky or nothing. I'm just saying I had it mapped out. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what helped me sell close to the top with Bitcoin, was I seen that the NASDAQ topped out and made lower highs on the daily. So we are at the line in the sand right now for the NASDAQ. This is what I'm looking at right here. Being held down by the 21. Okay. We did gap up, closed the gap already. Now we're going to find out whether we can hold 10,950 region. All right. So if we can hold that, we could possibly get up here to this next level of resistance at 11,487 region. Probably come up to the 50. Now, if we get rejected from the 50 at 11,760, watch out, because if you break this last low, at 10, 74.75 region, you will fall below the line in the sand. All right, so that's going to mean that the next level, and I mean, I've had that line in the sand drawn for a long time. This is the fucking line in the sand, okay? If that thing breaks, your next level is $9,700. And that's really all the support you have till that level. It's all hot air. You really don't have no support till then. Let's go to some short term. So right now you're trying to get the bounce. I mean, you're getting rejected from the bullish control zone. So if you cross that signal line to the downside, not going to look too good. And you need to stay above 11,098 in order to stay above that signal line on the RSI. Right now, your MACD, however, crossed its zero line, but your positive momentum is pretty stable. You did have quite the pop with that gap, but you've already filled that gap. And now, I mean, if you break this last local low, 11,070 right here, I mean, you're going to find some support on the 21 and the 50, which are trying to curl up right now. If these can curl up, I mean, that might be a different story if they can cross this to 100 at the same time. But it's all going to depend on where your momentum and shit is as well. BBWP is contracting right now. So, I mean, do you just work your way down a little bit? You're going to find high support at, the 10,700 level, which is the line in the sand. You're at an inflection point with the NASDAQ right now, too. This is macro shit. Like, the next move that's going to happen in these markets is not a small one. It's going to be big. It's going to be the biggest in months. All right? Let's go to the S&P 500. Similar story, except for, looks a little bit better. If you can get in this bullish control zone and your MACD continue its upside curvature, print some more dark green bars on that histogram as BBWP turns around and crosses its moving average, you could get back up to the 200. Possibly even higher. If you break the 200 at about 37.70, the next level is 3,900. That would be your next level. But that's if you can break the 200. Now, your moving averages are trying to curl up, but be careful because you're kind of in a range. All right? You're kind of in a range right now. So you could also get that wick up to the 3,800 level. But, 37.70 and that 200 is the level to beat. But like I said, you get a wick up to 3,800 and still be in the range. So be careful, because if you break the 36.50 level and these moving averages, you're probably going to come back down to the lows at 3,500. You break that, you're in big trouble, man. Big trouble. Next level would be this low at 3,500. After that, next level would be basically 3,000. And that's, I mean, you're going to have ebbs and flows along the way, but shit's going to get ugly, man. I'm telling you, we're right at an inflection point right now. Let's look at the DXY. All right, so the DXY, trying to make a higher low. We did make a lower high. All right, now let's see if we have any divergences. So if this is a local low, we will have bullish divergence on the MACD. So if we can get back above this last high at basically 113, I'd say 113.60, 113.56 even. If we can get back above that last high, that's going to signify bullish divergence on the MACD. This is on the daily. So that could lead us back above this last high at 114.25 region. If that happens, I do think we go up to 116 pretty quickly too, and I do think that would have an effect on Bitcoin. Now, you see these moving averages. Look at that multi-moving average crossover. That signal, I'm telling you, that strategy I use is golden. It really is. It took me a long time to get it. It's not just about a moving average crossover, though. There's a lot of other variables that go into it, and I'm going to explain them in tonight's video. So definitely watch that video. I don't know what the title is yet, but it's, it'll come out soon. It'll be on Table Talk. All right, so the true trend is obviously way up. I mean, we're basically parabolic, and I think it can continue. We're not even that straight up and down yet. I mean, plus we could level out. We could level out and the trend would still stay up. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely pay attention to the TXY right now too. Right now we're in the neutral zone. Below your signal line, MACD. Getting rejected from the signal line, negative momentum is continuing a little bit. So this could, I mean, if this breaks the 21, basically right where we're at now, we're probably going to come down to the 50. And if we come down to the 50, then we're going to have to come back to it because that's going to invalidate some shit. All right, so it's going to be 110.40 region is basically where the 50's coming at. But if you come down there, you still make a higher low. As long as you close above the 50, we're probably going to keep going up. All right, but like I said, we need to get back above this last high in order for anything to mean anything. Okay, so once again, if you guys like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. Show some support in the bear market. Check out the links in the description below. Join the Discord. I'm telling you, join the Discord. Everyone have a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, and I will see you tomorrow.